Hey everyone, it's the Ioniq guy. Kia's 2023 EV Day took place last week, and today I'm going to share with you all the information that came out of it, or I should say, lack of information. We didn't really find out much earth-shattering information here, but there are some things to talk about. So let's start off with the concept cars. Kia showed off two concept cars, one being the EV3 and the other being the EV4. And when you first see these, my first opinion is, wow, the EV4 looks basically like an EV6, and the EV3 looks very much production ready. And I have shared with you in multiple videos now some spy photos of Kia's smaller EVs that are be coming to the market soon, and the EV3 is going to likely be the next one. Unfortunately, they didn't really share much information about like what the drivetrain is going to be, if it's going to be 400 volt or 800 volt. Is it a direct replacement for the Kia Soul EV, for the Niro EV? They didn't really specify. But in my mind, this is probably going to eliminate both of those cars from the lineup and take over in that spot. It does look really small. I'd say this is probably going to directly compete with the Chevy Bolt EV or the next iteration of that when that eventually comes out sometime next year. Potentially the Volvo EX30, which is Volvo's new entry-level EV that's going to start in the $30,000 range. Overall, though, it looks like a squished-down version of the EV5 and the EV9. The lighting signatures are definitely stretching across all their cars that they are designing these days. So we'll have to wait and find out more information about that vehicle specifically. The next concept car they showed off is called the EV4. And to be perfectly honest, I don't see what the point of this concept car is. They basically took an EV6, tweaked the lighting a little bit, and put a deck lid between the back seat and the trunk area and called it a sedan. The roofline is almost identical to the EV6. The back window is just a little bit more raked versus that car. You can see the triangular shaped wheels that we see on the EV9. It's just kind of an underwhelming concept car in my opinion. If you live anywhere on planet Earth, then you know SUVs are the new family car. Most people aren't buying sedans anymore, but they should really be pushing as many SUVs as they can out, and not ones like the EV9 that start in the $50,000 and go up to $70,000 range. We need cheaper, smaller SUVs to compete with the Tesla Model Y and even the Tesla Model X now, which is much more competitively priced than it was just a couple months ago. Probably the biggest news from this event, though, is in regard to the next number up, the Kia EV5, which is fully shown in production form. This is exactly what the car is going to look like when it goes on sale in China, in South Korea, other world markets, but interestingly enough, not the United States, possibly not even North America. And for me, that is a big disappointment. I was super excited about the EV5 and all the potential opportunity it had for its class. I mean, when you look at that EV5, that looks like a Ford Escape. It looks like a Honda CR-V. It looks like a RAV4. That's the form factor that people really want. The EV6 is not that. It's too short. It's more of a hatchback. I just drove the Ioniq 6 for a week, and in terms of step-in height, headroom, it felt almost identical to the EV6. So the EV5 is going to be made in China as well as South Korea, but they're saying that they're still kind of investigating whether they want to export it to North America and specifically the US market, which is very disappointing. Interestingly, though, it is going to be a 400-volt car, so it is not going to charge nearly as fast as the Ioniq 5 or the EV6 or any of Hyundai's other eGMP cars. This is going to be the first eGMP car that doesn't charge 10 to 80% in less than 25 minutes or so. The EV9 is a little bit longer than the Ioniq 5 or the EV6 because it has a 100 kilowatt hour battery pack versus a 77. The reason they're doing 400 volt is to keep costs down. This car is going to be sold in China, and Chinese EVs right now are so freaking cheap. Some of them start in the low $20,000 range. And I guess if they're using their 800 volt components that cost more money, they wouldn't be able to compete in the Chinese market. They also have a partnership with a Chinese battery manufacturer, so they are getting cells directly from China. The reason I'm so disappointed is I went and put in a reservation for the upcoming Kia EV9 full-size electric SUV, and I submitted my $750 deposit. It goes to the local dealership. The dealership contacted me and they said, oh, blah, 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 here's all the information. And by the way, we're tacking on a 10% dealer markup fee onto the car. And I immediately said, you know what? give me my $750 back because I'm not playing these dealer games anymore. I said, you guys realize the sales of this car in Korea are pretty bad. They wouldn't budge on that 10% dealer markup, so I said, give me my money back. I'll go find a different dealer that's not going to do that. So if you are shopping for a Kia EV9, I do not recommend you go to Gary Rome Kia in Enfield, Connecticut. Apparently they just want to make a quick buck and rip off their customers. The market has completely changed since 2022. EVs are not selling nearly as well as they were last year. There's not as much demand, and with interest rates being as high as they are, I don't think people are willing to spend 10% over MSRP on a car anymore. I know I certainly am not. I'm sure within 6 months of going on sale, the EV9 will probably be discounted 15 or 20%. But I digress. So yeah, I'm kind of underwhelmed by EV Day. I'm not really going to be in the market for the EV3. It's going to be too small for me. I'm a tall guy. I need a bigger car. With the EV4, I don't really know who they're targeting with that vehicle. Sedans just sell so poorly here in the United States now. They really need to be focusing on SUVs, in my opinion. But I'm sure there's still a small market for sedans. So if they're going to build them in small volume, maybe it'll work for them. So anyway, guys, what do you think of these concept cars and the news about the EV5? Let me know down in the comments section. If you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody. Are you a new or existing owner of a Hyundai Ioniq 5? Then check out my store because I got a bunch of cool new stuff to show you. So obviously you got the OG magnetic eyewear holder, but I've also got a new magnet shaped like the Ioniq 5 wheel. Do you like big 40-ounce water bottles or tiny little cans? Well, I've got both. This one shrinks your cup holder, while this one enlarges it. I've also got some for the rear seat. I've also got a keychain that resembles the charging indicator in the charge port, and if you don't even want to see this charge port indicator when you're charging at night, you can go ahead and cover it up with this little guy. These LEDs flash very bright at night, so you might not want people coming over and looking at them, and when you're done, thanks to these two little nubs, you can go ahead and store it right in your charge port. I design and 3D print these all myself, and every single sale goes towards the channel and helping me grow it a little bit more. So you can purchase any of these products from the links in the descriptions. If you're international, please use my Etsy store. If you're in the US, you can go to my website, ioniqguy.com. You can also purchase them right here without leaving YouTube from the store on my channel page. And if you have any custom requests, shoot me a message because I'm always open to trying something new. So I appreciate you checking them out and I hope you like them.